sometime in my life, I almost gave up on myself. Nothing was moving. I was stuck. I was getting jobs in the area I thought was the field God mapped out for me. I can't even fully explain how tough that season was for me. It got to a point where I felt so worthless, and I started thinking of doing really negative things. When you reach a place in life where you feel like you have tried everything and nothing is working, it does something to your mind. It begins to question your value. It makes you feel like maybe you are the problem. Maybe you are not good enough. Maybe you misunderstood God. And that was where I was mentally and emotionally. I waited on God. I prayed the little I could. Sometimes the prayer was not even long prayers. Sometimes it was just, God, please help me. Sometimes it was silence because I didn't even know what to say anymore. Have you ever been in that kind of place before? A place where prayer is not powerful words, it's just survival. A place where your faith is not loud, it's just barely breathing. That was where I was. But nothing seemed to be coming forth. I started feeling like maybe God was unkind to me. And that thought alone was painful because deep down, I knew God was good, but my situation was telling a different story. I felt like I had reached my limit. I remember reaching out to my friend and telling her how I felt. I told her how tired I was, how discouraged I was becoming, how it seemed like every effort I made ended in disappointment. She said something very simple to me. She said, "Keep holding on, sis. I will always be here for you." And I appreciated those words. Truly, I did. Because sometimes in your darkest moments, all you need is someone who will just stay with you and not judge you. Someone who will listen without trying to fix everything. Someone who will just say, "I'm here." But inside my heart, there was still a question. For how long? How long do you keep holding on when nothing is changing? How long do you keep believing when every result you see is telling you something else? How long do you keep waking up with hope, only to end the day with disappointment? Those were the questions going through my mind. Then one day, I was reading the Bible and I came across a passage that spoke about Peter. The Bible said Peter had been toiling all night with no result. And that story spoke directly to my heart. Think about it for a moment. Peter was not lazy. Peter was a fisherman. Fishing was his profession. That means he knew what he was doing. He understood the waters, he knew how to cast nets, he had experience. This was not someone trying something for the first time. This was someone who had done it many times before. Yet, the Bible said he toiled all night and caught nothing. Sometimes when we fail, or when things don't work out, people assume it is because we did not try hard enough. But that story reminded me that sometimes you can try your best and still not see results. Peter and the other fishermen had worked all night long. They used their skill, their strength, their knowledge, their experience, but the nets were empty. And sometimes life feels exactly like that. You put in effort, you wake up early, you sacrifice your comfort, you apply for the jobs, you attend the interviews, you start the business, you pursue the opportunities, you do everything people say you should do, yet the results are empty. And when the nets are empty long enough, it starts to attack your confidence. You start doubting yourself. You start questioning your path. You start wondering if maybe you missed God somewhere along the way. But the Bible said, after that long night of toiling, Jesus appeared. Now listen carefully to this part. They did not continue toiling. They didn't pretend everything was fine. They didn't hide their struggle. The Bible said they spoke to Jesus and said, "Lord, we have toiled all night." That statement alone is powerful because it shows honesty, it shows humility, it shows surrender. They were basically saying, "Lord, we tried. We did everything we know how to do." And that moment is very important because sometimes in our lives, we try to carry everything ourselves. We try to fix everything ourselves. We try to prove that we are capable. We try to prove that we are strong. But there comes a point where the greatest strength is admitting that you need help. That moment for Peter was not just inviting Jesus into his plans. It was something deeper than that. It was a place of total surrender. There's a difference between inviting Jesus into your plans and surrendering your plans to Jesus. Many of us say, "Lord, bless what I am doing." But surrender says, "Lord, lead what I should be doing." Do you see the difference? One is asking God to support your idea. The other is asking God to give you His direction. Peter reached that place where he was no longer depending on his experience alone, and then Jesus spoke. Jesus gave an instruction that probably sounded unusual. He told them where to cast the net. Imagine that moment for a second. Peter had been toiling all night. Jesus had just arrived, yet Jesus was the one giving the direction. Peter could have said, "I am the professional here." He could have said, "I have already tried everything." He could have said, "It doesn't work like that." But instead, he said something very powerful. "Nevertheless, at your word." That sentence carries so much faith. It means, even though my experience says this will not work, I will trust your word. Even though my past attempts failed, I will trust your word. Even though I am tired, I will trust your word. And when they obeyed that instruction, something incredible happened. The catch was massive, not small, not manageable, massive. The nets began to overflow with fish. There were so many fish that the nets were almost breaking. The boats were beginning to sink. They even had to call other fishermen to come and help them pull the fish. Think about that transformation. The same fishermen, the same nets, the same water, but a completely different result. Why? Because this time, Jesus directed the net. And that was when something became clear to me. Sometimes the problem is not that you are not working hard. Sometimes the problem is that you are casting your net in the wrong place. Hard work is important, effort is important, discipline is important, but direction is powerful. Without direction, effort becomes frustration. Without direction, discipline becomes exhausting. Without direction, motivation fades very quickly. And that is why the message today is simple. You don't need more motivation, you need direction. Sis, do you know Jesus can cast your net for you? For how long will you struggle alone? For how long will you keep trying to force results by your own strength? It is obvious sometimes that our plans are not working, and that realization is not meant to shame us, it is meant to guide us into surrender. Sometimes discipline feels hard for us because we are trying to push ourselves through things that God never directed us to do. Sometimes the struggle is not because we are weak. Sometimes it is because we are moving without divine direction. I remember thinking about certain things in my life that felt impossible for me. One of them was buying my first car. That was not something I believed was possible for me at that time. But when Jesus started casting my net for me, things began to happen in ways I could not have planned. Opportunities started coming. Help came from unexpected places. Things began to align. Doors opened that I did not even know existed. And before I knew it, I was catching blessings I never imagined. That is the power of surrender. You have toiled enough, sis. Invite him now. Let him have a grip of your net. Let him guide your steps. Let him show you where to cast your effort, because when Jesus leads, the results can be beyond what you imagined. Sometimes we compare our race to that of others. We look at someone else's life and we say, she's getting it so easy. But sis, she's doing a lot you don't know. Everyone has a journey. Everyone has a story behind their progress. Everyone has battles they fought privately. Everyone has nights where they questioned themselves. Comparison can make your journey heavier than it needs to be. Your timing is different. Your process is different. Your story is different. What matters is not how fast someone else is nosing. What matters is whether you are allowing God to guide your steps. Because when God directs your path, even the seasons that look empty can become preparation for abundance. Peter's empty night was not wasted. It prepared him for the moment Jesus would step into the boat. So sometimes the empty seasons in our lives are preparing us for the moment when God will give us a new direction. So if you are in a season where nothing seems to be working, I want you to remember something. An empty net does not mean a finished story. It might just mean that Jesus is about to give you new instructions. And when he does, trust him enough to cast your net again, not by your strength, but by his word.